Jai Shri Radhe. The stories of the 252 Vaishnava disciples of Sri Gosaiji. Today is day 108 and Varta 85. The story of one Gujar's daughter-in-law who lived in Anyor, whose buffalo Sri Govardhanaji returned. Very suitable Vartaji for the day. और नूतन वर्ष अभिनंदन अनुकूट को उत्सव है वाह जय जय श्री राधे जी सब वैष्णवों को सादर और सप्रेम जय श्री कृष्ण Bhav Prakash. This is a devotee of Tamasi disposition. In the eternal Leela, her name is Parameswari. Previously, she was Bimala's Sakhi in the Dwarka Leela. She manifests from Bimala, who is a very close Sakhi of Sri Swaminiji and is thus a form of her divine loving sentiment. Once Sri Thakurji and Sri Dwarkaji was telling Sri Rukminiji about his pastimes in Vraj. As he was doing so, Parameswari came there to do something. From a distance she heard all that Sri Thakurji was saying. She thought to herself, "Oh, when will I get the good fortune to experience the Lord's pastimes in Vraj?" She felt pangs of longing for this in her heart. She could not eat or drink. Her heart was struck by sadness day and night. She lost her taste for everything else and could not apply herself to any activity. Sri Thakurji is the knower of everyone's heart and knew what she was thinking. He called Parameswari to him and said, "Why are you so sad? Sing the praises of Sri Yamunaji. Sri Yamunaji is the guardian controller of the Vraja pastimes. One can only get the fortune of experience the pastimes of Vraja with her grace. Therefore worship her, your wish will be granted." Having granted her this boon, Sri Thakurji went to Sri Rukminiji. After this, Parameswari felt a burning longing for Sri Yamunaji and began to worship her. It was not too long before Sri Yamunaji was pleased with her and gave Parameswari her holy sight. She said, "Now please ask a boon of me. I am pleased with you." Parameswari put her hands together in humble supplication and said, "O great queen, my wish is the same as the one that you granted to the Kamarika gopis. Please fulfill this wish. I come to you in surrender." With grace, Sri Yamunaji asked her what was her desire. Parameswari replied, "O great queen, you are in control of the Vraja Leelas. Sri Thakurji told me this. Please bless me, this humble soul, so that I might be accepted into the Vraja Leelas. I do not want anything else." Sri Yamunaji was pleased with her and said, "Let it be so." Sri Yamunaji blessed her in this way and then disappeared. It was some time after this that Parameswari took birth in Vraj. She was born into a family of Gujars in a place called Sakitara. She was 12 when she was married off to a Brajwasi boy who was the Gujar caste. She was initiated together with the whole family with the Lord's name by Sri Gosaiji. Part 1. The Brajwasi lived in Anyor. He brought the girl as a bride for his son to his house. She was very mature, for her in-laws had initiated her with the Lord's name by Sri Gosaiji. She became Sri Gosaiji's disciple. Thereafter she would go daily to Sri Govardhanaji's temple to have his holy sight. She became very attached to him. She would not eat nor drink until she had had his sight. This was her solemn habit. The daughter-in-law was a very accomplished Vaishnava. Part 2. A few days after the daughter-in-law had come to that Brajwasi's house, his buffalo went missing. All the men of the house went out to search for it. The girl's mother-in-law was old and used to just sit at the entrance of the house to guard it. The daughter-in-law did all the work inside the house. The neighbour said to the mother-in-law, "Your daughter-in-law has brought bad luck inasmuch as the buffalo has gone missing just a few days after her arrival." The girl heard this and went into the house and, feeling terrible, began to cry profusely. Then she prayed to Sri Govardhanaji, "O my Lord, I have no one here to call my own except you. I have no one to listen to my cries. Therefore, friend of the fortunate, I am far from my parents. All of the people here have given me a bad name, so if you can bring back the buffalo today, I will feed you a whole day's butter." In this way, this Brajwasini girl supplicated Sri Govardhanaji from the bottom of her pure heart. She bowed to him and said again, "O Supreme Lord above all others, only you can save me from this dilemma. Otherwise I shall have to give up my very life force." After she made this request, Sri Govardhanaji let the Brajwasi men find the buffalo. They came home in a very blissed-out mood. Then they tied up the buffalo and began to talk amongst themselves. "Oh, our daughter-in-law is bringer of good luck, in that we have found our lost buffalo." The Brajwasis all began to praise their daughter-in-law. The daughter-in-law herself thought, "It is only by Sri Govardhanaji's power that this buffalo has been found." This shows that she was an accomplished devotee, whose character was so straightforward. Bhav Prakash. In this story it is taught that we should never abandon our refuge in Sri Govardhan Nachi, even if our name is sullied, because Sri Govardhan Nachi himself looks after his devotee's reputation. A Vaishnava devotee should only ever take refuge in Sri Govardhan Nachi if that devotee finds their patience really challenged and are tempted to want to pray for something or some result. Then they should direct that prayer exclusively to Sri Govardhan Nachi alone and never to anyone else. If one wishes to make a promise or vow to a godhead, then that should also be directed to Sri Dev Damanji alone, to none other. Why? Because Sri Govardhan Naji is the family deity of Gokul. Gokul is synonymous with Bhaktakul, or the family of devotees, and he alone is the beloved Lord of both of these. Therefore, one should not take shelter in any other than him, for he is Dev Damanji and thus rules over and controls all other godhead personalities. Even Yama and the time spirit are under his rule only. Surdas has a poem about this. Pada, Rag Vilaval. The beloved Sri Krishna is the dear Lord of Gokul. His eyes resemble lotus flowers. He is dark like a rain cloud, and his arms are immense. Quickly, do what I say. Cook many tasty dishes. Sri Krishna forcefully takes the offerings meant for Indra and eats them, putting his ghee on his hands and filling his cheeks with them with his hands. He then shares all these preparations with the cows, calves, and cowherd boys. He eats together with them exactly as a cowherd would. Surdasji now sings, always serve Sri Govardhan, live your life for Sri Gopal, for even Yama and time live in fear of him. Thus it is that none can supersede Sri Krishna, Dev Damanji. The principle here is that a Vaishnav must never follow another.